What? Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Unfiltered! Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm in a good mood, guys. Haven't slept, but I'm in a good mood. And today we are on the Glenmorangie. Glenmo. Lots of people call it Glenmorangie.
Well, actually, now it's Glenmorangie.
I know, it's a bit of a weird
which
one.
we can discuss.
Rebranding for sure. But Glenmo is a bit of a beast. Kind of one of the lightest drams going and available. So really good for entry-level dram drinkers, I would say. We've got a few different ones here today. Where do you want to start, boys? Start with the 10, or do we want to start with the X?
Maybe let's talk about the 10 to start with, right?
I think the 10 is a nice place to start.
Yeah. I think, you talk a lot about, you get, a bunch of pubs and stuff that are either Diageo-led or Pernod-led in terms of, like, the spirits they have.
Yep.
Obviously, Glenmo, part of LVMH, them and Ardbeg, but you still see Glenmo 10 in, like, every pub.
Pretty much everywhere. It is a staple, not only of pubs, but pretty much every shop as well. There are very few shops, whether it's sort of supermarkets or sort of specialist retailers, that don't stock it. So,
and I would also say that people that I know that drink whiskey that are not really into whiskey
love Glenmorangie.
Love it. It's their go-to bottle, yeah.
It's something that I keep on seeing online. People who are, like, bourbon drinkers, like, over in the States, are like, oh, I want to get into Scotch, like, where do I start? Like, time and time again, like, that seems to be a gateway drug for bourbon drinkers into the world of, like, Scottish whiskey.
Definitely.
Well, let's crack it open.
Yeah, do it.
Give it a
Ian,
little
fire
little
away.
taste.
New packaging.
Yeah, this is what I was literally just about to say. Obviously, new branding. What do we think? I really like the feel of the bottle.
The shape.
The feel, the shape,
yeah.
It's ever so slightly changed. It's not like a massive difference. It just feels a little bit weightier. The corks are a little bit different.
Looks like a wine bottle to me, like a rosé.
I like it. I really like the
bottle.
feel of the bottle. It's the label that bothers me.
The rebranding of the label, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird because I kind of like the style. I just don't like the way they've written the word out because it makes you read it in that order, and that's not the way I say it.
Correct.
I don't think that's the way it's meant to be said. So,
well, this is exactly it. It does kind of lead you into mispronouncing it, and I think this is not going to help their case for getting it said properly. It would make more sense for it to be written Glen Orange
right.
Right? Because that's how you're supposed to say it, Glenmorangie. So I don't really know. Obviously, it's nice to have the orange label on the 10. Maybe that will push people in the right direction some degree.
It's always been a bit orange.
Yeah.
This is
kind
quite
of
a lot
yellowy, orangey, reddy.
Was the bottle coloured before the old bottle?
No.
It's
I swear the colour of the liquid was more orangey, or maybe I'm just, as you saying, maybe it was the label.
I think it's just the label playing with your eyes a little bit. Yeah.
I think it's a mistake from whoever is in charge of that order of letters on there. I think big mistake in terms, because that's how, if you're just getting into whiskey and you're picking up the bottle, that's how you're going to read it and how you're going to say it.
Correct. No, I couldn't agree more.
It's going to be Glenmo Orango Tangy.
Pretty much,
isn't
right?
it?
I don't think people are going to know what they're saying, how they're supposed to be saying it. Yeah,
it's the victory of a marketing team over, like, the actual distillery, right? Because the marketing team just want to get the bottle sold, right? And it's a good looking bottle.
It is a good looking bottle. It really is. I think that they could have played a little bit more on the emblem.
Yep.
I felt that was a more prominent part of the bottles previously.
Well,
there you go.
Here's one.
There you go. Exactly.
Massive.
And I just think that that's kind of quite a central part of the area, right? And this is something important to know, because I always think of Glenmorangie as a space ice. I know it's not, but just because it's so light, so easygoing, I always forget it's actually a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, and it's kind of right in the back arse of nowhere, right?
Yeah, you got to go to Inverness and keep on trucking up the road for a bit. It's kind of if you're doing the North Coast 500 that way, it's kind of one of the, not the first, but kind of like one of the initial distilleries you'll come across.
But this is it. I just feel like previously the bottles paid a lot more homage to a place and kind of the brand. Whereas, like you say, now I feel like this is a new age marketing team that's kind of making it a little bit sexy, a little bit new age. And don't get me wrong, we'll come on to the X in a second. And that is appealing to cocktail drinkers. It's supposed to be behind a bar. It's supposed to be eye-catching. I love the branding of the X. I think it's exactly what it needs to be. Okay, it's maybe not for drinkers like us. That's fine, but it does exactly what it needs to. I feel like with the branding of this, they've gone slightly the wrong way. They've come away from their heritage a bit, and I would like to see a bit more of that. You know,
They have. I mean, look, same obviously parent brand as Ardbeg, and it's less on crack than that, right?
True. Yeah, no. They're staying a little bit more true to the.
It's in comparison to what it could be, it's pretty restrained.
Mm-hmm. I think as a brand, though, you talk about obviously, LVMH owning the two, Ardbeg being this beast, this kind of way out there, even for Isla, it's such a sort of in a realm of its own. Glenmorangie, tallest stills in Scotland?
Yeah.
Some of the lightest spirit. It is light. It's easygoing. It's a welcoming entry level into whiskey. Come and join us. Have a little dram here. You probably don't want your marketing to be too offensive to those people, right? Because it's going to drive them away.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's things that obviously the orange color's been around for donkey's years at this point in time.
Yep.
At least 15 or so. But because of the shape of the stills and the fact that they're so tall, they are often associated with like the giraffe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like here's the Glenmorangie like giraffe edition.
Right, for sure. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Look, I like the look of it. I think the two things are the way the word is written, because it's one thing that they always pick. Oh, that's not how you say it, actually. We'll write it properly on your fucking bottles and lads. You know what I mean? Like we'll say it properly if you write it properly. And I just feel that they've come slightly away. I love the look of it. And that's the thing. It's kind of I'm torn on the rebrand. I really like it. It's a sexy bottle. It makes you want to buy it. But does it do what I want it to do? Does it tell me more about the whiskey? Does it tell me more about the brand? No, not really.
That's because, obviously you're used to what it used to be, and they're obviously going in a different direction with regards to their demographics and who they're targeting now.
Look, they know
that
what
on
they're
the shelf
doing.
next to the X is very appealing, I would say, to anyone and sort of, any gender, any age, really.
Yeah.
And, they're keeping that sort of thing in mind that, listen, they need to bring new people in.
Yeah.
And
it appeals to a younger generation.
It does.
It definitely appeals to a younger generation. Like you say, it's not marketed specifically towards men or anything like that. I think that's and again, the flavor, it's not offensive. So if you've got anyone who's not a whiskey drinker coming into the space, they're not going to, it's really, really enjoyable. And we'll come on to the X in a minute. Has anyone tried the X? Has anyone made cocktails with this before?
I've not made cocktails, but I've been to an event where they were serving cocktails using it. A couple of events, actually. One was with London Essence, which is like a kind of tonic and kind of mixer kind of company.
Mm-hmm.
The other was Cocktails in the City. It kind of happens in one of the like London squares over the summer.
Good events?
Yeah, both good events, like pop-up things that were there for a couple of months last year. I can't remember whether I ever had it neat.
Well, you will.
Yeah.
Shortly. Hold tight.
How much did you pay for the 10?
That's a really good question. Got the receipt here, mate. I've literally just come. As I say, it's been a bit of a manic morning. I grabbed all these bits on the way here, so they are fresh bottles. I picked these up in the wine rack, and I paid... It doesn't say which is which. I paid, presumably $37.99 for the 10, I would imagine, and $26.99 for the X.
Right, okay.
More expensive than it normally is, for sure.
Yeah,
you should be able to pick up the 10 for what, 30?
30, yeah.
In the
Certainly
supermarkets,
low 30s, not high 30s.
For sure. No, hey, look, like I say, ill-prepared. It's my own fault.
No.
I'll pay a little bit extra. But yeah, no, you should be able to find the 10 for in and around 30. I can't say I've looked out for the X before, so I don't know if that's like a fair price or a little bit. I would imagine, again, probably a bit higher, probably around 22, 23 pounds normally, I would imagine.
For 30 quid, it's so consistent, and it's actually, given what you can buy, what you can get as 10-year-olds out there and what you normally pay for them, which is much more,
Mm-hmm.
It's solid. It's worth it. It's worth every penny,
Look, the thing for me with Glenmorangie 10 is I love it. It's not overly complex. It's not the
No.
sort of thing that you sit around chatting about
Listen,
the
it doesn't
tasting
blow me
notes for
away,
hours. It's
But
kind of...
you could do a lot worse.
Oh, look.
You know?
It's lovely. It's lovely for what it is. It's light. It's vanilla.
Yep.
It's soft. It's buttery.
Yep.
There's not much more to it. Like, you know, we're talking tasting. I don't feel like I could say much about this other than, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And if you haven't tried it, you should try it. And if you don't like whiskey, you'll like this, you know? There's not much else that I can really say about the 10. I don't know how you guys feel.
I agree with Stevie. Like the consistency's there. Like I immediately was like, oh, that's the 10-year-old.
Back on the 10. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's cool because, you know, we've talked on a number of episodes about inconsistent consistency, right?
For sure.
And standard slipping over the years. And I think, again, you know, the price of the 10 has only crept very gradually up.
Fairly steady. No, I mean, look, especially again, looking at other brands, like you say, I think it's done very well for itself.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, 40% definitely had a dash of caramel.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, it always has as well. But I don't think, you know, and it'll be interesting actually to line up some of them. I don't think the color has changed. I think that's because of the orange label.
I mean, it's very light anyway.
It's still light enough, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, we've talked about other brands and a lot of brands, I think, you know, a little bit, they won't notice. But it's like all of a sudden you get the one 20 years ago and one today, and like, hold on a minute, like, this is different. I don't think you're going to see that, or certainly nowhere near as much with Glenmorangie. Ian, you may know this, something I don't know, and again, so manic this morning. Normally I'll have a little glance through my books and prepare a little bit for these episodes. I've done no preparation
on the spot now.
So yeah, exactly. Apologies if I am putting you on the spot. I don't know where these guys are at with regards to how much they're actually producing. I know that they've got a capacity just over 7 million. Do you know? I would imagine LVMH, you know, they're now pumping out a lot more. Are we at a sort of 100% capacity? Are they working around the clock 7 days, or are we? Do you have any idea?
I think they must be pretty close.
Pretty close to full. That's what I imagined. And I could start flipping through these books now and be very antisocial, but I won't because, we'll keep the episode rolling. But I was thinking it was quite high. So 7 million litres, obviously, look, you know, again, we discussed some of the other distilleries and, you know, 15 to 20 million plus litres. I mean, it's just insane. 7 million litres, though, this is a behemoth, and it is a brand that is enjoyed like the world over. So like we say, the fact that you are able to access it in bars, in shops, kind of anywhere and everywhere throughout the UK, but also this is a prominent brand globally. You know, I think we've kind of we've got to give the 10 the respect for that, I think, because the 10 is the one that kind of is holding the fort and making sure that it is everywhere, right?
Do they put it in anything else? Does it get used for blending at all? Or
oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Fuck, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so either.
I'm pretty sure it's all single malt output.
Right.
Same as Ardbeg, right?
Yeah, like, and you don't see an awful lot of it on the cask market either, do you?
And we'll come on to that. And when you do see it on the cask market, as per the Ardbegs, unless you bought it early 90s, you know, when the distillery was in a lot of trouble, it's not named. Yeah. So it's not named Glenmorangie, it's not named, you know,
That's interesting. Yeah. So it goes on kind of the deal that you had when you bought it with regards to what you can name it.
Oh, 100%.
It's not like, oh, you bought it in the 90s, we set this now, you can't do it.
Correct.
That's interesting.
No, yeah, correct.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. And that's with all distilleries, you know, as I think we've discussed in our cask sample episode or different episodes, you know. We'll come on to that a bit later, but
well, I'm interested to try this
the X
cocktail.
Yeah, let's try the X. Let's crack the X open. I think it's going to be a cool one. Has anyone been to the distillery? Because again, it's one of the...
Did we not go there when we did our big drive?
No, I've never been. So if you think you've been with me, you've not been. No. I've never been.
Ian, have you been up there?
Thank you, Ian.
I have not. I would like to. It is supposed
I would
to be...
love to go. It's one of the top ones on my agenda with regards to ones I'm interested to see.
It's supposed to be very scenic. I believe there is an option to stay there as well.
Right.
They have like a kind of a B&B and, you know, obviously not quite eat, sleep, drown, repeat, but I think there is a kind of like overnight level experience that you can do.
I'd love to do that. We should have a little look.
A lot sweeter on the nose here.
Also, definitely younger, right? This is definitely a non-age statement. Just that kind of lack of integration between the alcohol. Yeah. I mean, it's what, 40% still, or 43? Is it
40%?
40 flat. So interesting that it's 40 flat and it's for cocktails. I would have thought they would have made it, you know, just that little bit stronger to stand out and be a bit of a base level of a cocktail. But for me, You can tell that it's
on
it's
the
non-age
palate too.
statement because that alcohol. You're saying it comes through on the so I haven't tried it yet, but just straight away on the nose, that alcohol is not well integrated at all. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb at the back end.
You get
You
this
know
little thing, and you get a bunch of recipes on it.
Any interesting cocktails in there?
So there's
I like that. I like that. That's cool.
There's
Good.
There's three.
Go on.
They're basically there's two highballs. One of which is with like peach iced tea.
Okay.
That sounds delicious.
Another one is basically crushed ice and just tonic water, so kind of fairly traditional highball with some orange in it.
Don't want that.
And then what they call sangria, but there's no red wine in it. Take out the red wine and add in some X instead.
Right.
So it's
With brandy? Because I make my sangria with wine and brandy. That's like proper sangria, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mixing whiskey and brandy. Fuck.
This is not sangria.
This is something else. All right, fair enough. You know what? I like the fact that they put some cocktails on there at least. I mean, it doesn't sound like they're necessarily overly creative. But
QR
also
code for
giving you
more.
a couple of suggestions.
You know what? It's not bad.
Hey, look, this isn't supposed to be drunk neat.
I know,
right?
but it's not
so
bad.
I don't mind it.
It's not
It's
like-
a non-age statement whiskey. Like if you eat, okay, this is going to be unnecessarily mean now, but if we were to single out things like the Talisker Sky Storm or these think of like these entry level
I know
kind
the
of
ones you
non-age
mean,
state,
yeah.
think of
Yeah.
I don't want to get too personal, right? But
You
if
already
we were
have.
to put this, I know I've already done it, I'm sorry. Sorry, Talisker, we love you. If we were to put this up against those, I think it actually does
like
very
it.
well for itself. Is it something that you want to be sipping on? Neat? No, not necessarily. But it's not bad.
It's not bad.
You're not enjoying yourself here.
I'm less convinced. I feel like it's close enough in price point that
Take that step further. I agree 100%. It's a no-brainer for me. But obviously, look, I think this is going to be potentially the new thing that's driving the. Look, if we're looking at the way they're rebranding, if we're looking
To
at the way
bring
they're
new people
positioning
in, yeah.
themselves,
Mhm.
if we're looking, this isn't the only thing that they've done that's been released for a cocktail thing, like exclusive. And so I think that this could potentially be the new entry-level point for Glenmorangie. It also makes it a lot easier for them to have a constant product on the shelves because this is non-age statement.
Yeah.
And I think for a non-whiskey drinker, they probably wouldn't pick up a huge amount of difference between this and the 10, particularly if it's in a cocktail, right? But,
Oh, no.
like for
I
even
get it.
neat, there is that little bit of disjointment. Like I say, the alcohol for me just doesn't quite balance as well. But it's still got that kind of orange peel. It's still got those kind of soft vanillas.
Yep.
It's not as creamy. It's not as buttery.
it's not as creamy. There's a little bit more kind of tannin to it, and the way it's less integrated.
It's a bit rougher around the edge,
Yeah.
right?
And maybe actually, as you said, maybe that's a good thing in a cocktail.
I'm surprised that they didn't do it 45, 48, 50%, bulge it up a bit, because this is the thing. Like you look at people, and again, I don't know, you guys like making your own. I love making cocktails, and I've gone through the whole like masterclass cocktail thing. I've followed. I love cocktails, like a good. I think people are funny about. Oh, I already drink. Fucking put it in a cocktail, my guy. It's delicious, But you want big, bolshy whiskeys in cocktail.
Yep.
I think because they stand out more, they are more prominent. It's like one of the best things that you can have from an ingredient standpoint, if you're a mixologist, if you're making cocktails, is with wormwort. What's it called?
Sorry, mate.
Oh,
Mine's a blank.
This is the thing, man. I haven't slept, so I'm sorry. My mind is not good.
How many letters?
It's it's normally green. It's
Absinthe.
Like, absinthe. Jesus Christ. I'm so tired, mate. Yeah. Absinthe.
Yep.
So absinthe is something that you would never think about shotting, right? Or drinking neat. Well, hey, look, whatever you do in your own time, Ian, I don't care, I wouldn't be drinking that
Sugar
neat certainly
cube
anymore.
and,
Done it once, not again.
Yeah, right? Burn your fucking esophagus, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because
it's
the
up
thing,
there,
absinthe is a key ingredient. If you want, because it bolshes it up, it brings a bit of life to a cocktail. Because you want to be drinking, if you're drinking a cocktail, it's not juice, right? You want some.
So you're saying that a cocktail should be the higher ABV, the better.
Well, I just think if it's a part of an ingredient list, if you want that alcohol to look, we're not drinking mocktails. Let's have a
Well, since I've been drinking whiskey as well, whenever I had cocktails, it just tastes like a fruit juice, right? So I do like to taste the alcohol in a cocktail.
This is exactly what I'm saying. And so for me, if this is a cocktail recipe or part of a cocktail recipe, it just being that little bit stronger, I think it would excuse the lack of integration with the alcohol and the flavor.
I think you're totally right about, regardless of like the integration or not, you're totally right on the big flavors. Like when I was on holiday a couple of years ago, I had a bottle of the Bemore 18, the travel retail. We're going to talk about that on another episode.
Cool.
And even though it was like an all-inclusive resort, the whiskey, unsurprisingly, was like real bottom shelf, like terrible blends. I used to like sometimes just rock up the bar with my bottle and just like chuck a bit of Coke in that. Colin Dunn will kill me because like he calls, he's like, oh, nothing better than a Lager 16 and Coke. He calls it the Smoky Cokey.
Right.
But I was just basically smashing those with Bemore 18 instead. It's great.
Was it?
Yeah.
Best Coke and whiskey you've ever had, was it?
I mean, the fucking JD and Coke, like, whatever. That's bullshit. Can get out.
So funny. So I hate whiskey and Coke. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just on a similar thing, we were at the Whiskey Live, obviously, recently. I hate Coca-Cola, full stop. So whiskey and Coke. Well,
yeah,
that's the point, right? And we were at the Milroy stand, and they were giving us their 25-year-old Ben Nevis. We obviously had our 25-year-old Ben Nevis with us. And so I gave some to James. He's like, oh, can I have some? Oh, it's really, really nice. And so we circled back later. He was like, can I have some more of your Ben Nevis? I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, do you mind if I make a whiskey Coke with that? I was like, I don't give a fuck. And it was so funny because we were stood with the top whiskeys guys. And I poured the Ben Nevis. And this is like top 10 whiskeys of 2022 by Forbes, sold out like that. People are fucking clamoring for this bottle. I had so many people coming up to, can I have a little taste? Can I have a little? And James goes and just pours a load of Coke into it. And one of the top, I think it was Evan, was just like, I'm not impressed at all. And I tell you what, I had a sip on it. Best whiskey Coke I've ever tried in my life.
Right.
It was actually okay. I was like, you know what? Fair fucking play, mate. I might have one of them later. So this is the thing. Good whiskey. Great whiskey Coke. So
especially when it's hot as
18,
well, when you're sitting by the pool, the last thing you want is a warm whiskey.
No, yeah.
Me personally, anyway.
Yeah.
So good cocktail with whiskey is a must.
Bunch of ice.
But that's it.
Little lemon wedge.
But
fucking
the flavour
umbrella.
of that. Right? And sorry, you were saying the travel exclusive Bemore. So that's it. That's rich flavours, It may not be a super high strength, but it's really super rich flavours. So they're going to stand out in a cocktail or up against a Coke. It's not much of a cocktail, Ian, but yeah, sure.
It's not a cocktail.
He's not getting too creative with his cocktails, is it?
Oh, I do others at home and shit. But like that was just one example of I think a strong, like if you put something really light in with Coke. I mean, I know obviously the guys did it with. The Ben Nevis is not light; it's flavorful. But
you
it's
know
obviously,
what? It still stood out enough, yeah.
Yeah,
but you're
it's
right.
a lighter style.
Yes, yeah. No, Jesus, a Bemore 18 will properly,
Dirty Pete and Coke, Lager, Ardbeg, Kalila, Bemore.
If you like Coke, still, I fucking.
yeah,
I mean, it was passable for me, but yeah, no, not anytime soon. I don't think. Anyway, sorry, we're getting distracted. Back to the Glenmo.
Yeah.
Glenmorangie.
You want to talk a bit about wood?
I love wood.
Yeah. Go wood.
Always. For Glenmorangie. Yeah. Talk to me.
Actually, I guess technically it's not wood series. It's barrel select.
So this is one of the interesting things. Okay, so let's talk about quickly. I'll tell you what, you pour these. Their core range is now obviously the X at the beginning, the 10, which is just bourbon.
Just bourbon.
Thank you, sire. And then you've got the 12, which is La Santa, which is sherry.
Yeah.
Sherry finish.
Oloroso finish.
Again, 2 years after the 10. It's basically taking the 10, putting it 2 years in Oloroso.
Yes.
Cool. And then you've got the 14-year-old, and you'll have to remind me what it's called, but it's port.
Quinta Ruben.
Cool. And that's the port. Okay. So the X, the 10, the sherry, and the port, essentially.
The Nectar d'Or as well, which is used to have an age statement, but is now no age statement.
No age statement.
Sauternes finish.
Right, okay. From there, do we jump up to the Signet, or is...
There's the Signet and the 18.
Which comes first, do we know?
I think probably the 18.
Okay. Is the Signet... Because the Signet, I've only had a few times. It's super premium, right? That's where they...
Signet, it's like... So the 18's still about, I think, 100, 110 pounds. The Signet, I think, is like 140, 150
pounds. That's where I thought it was.
And that's no age statement, but it's got a kind of a small parcel of older stuff in it. And then it's got the chocolate malt as well as
Right.
part of the mix.
Yes.
I really like it.
I like it. It's very good. It is very,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, no, look. And it's different. It stands out as something quite different in the lineup to me. But anyway, sorry. So
Yeah.
that's the core range. And then obviously they had the 20. Do they still have the 25?
I don't think so, because I think they've moved to these like yearly, like grand vintage
Correct. Right.
releases.
That's what I thought as well. I remember a good friend of mine gave me the, I say the end. It was like half a bottle of 25. It's like, I don't appreciate it the way you will. A few years ago. Oh my God.
Good.
Like I've had a dram of it in passing here or there, or at like shows or stuff. I've had, shared a little bit, but having half a bottle, I've never bought a bottle of something like that old from Glenmoe myself, but having that half bottle really gave me an appreciation, because this is great. 10 and 12, we've got something cool here that you'll tell us about now. It really works well when it's just left in a barrel and just doing its own thing.
Yeah.
The intricacy, I said I didn't have so much to say about the 10, and that's not like a negative thing. It's simple. It does what it says on the tin, and you don't have to overthink it. The intricacies that started showing from this bottle of 25, I
you'd
probably
hope
could have
so,
written
right?
tasting notes for years. Every time I went back to it, I was just like, fuck, that's this. Oh my God, beautiful. Really, really cool. But sorry, I'm chatting shite again.
No. I mean,
You've got a barrel select here.
They're good whiskies, right? And I think let's think like people, I think, kind of see it as a bit of a like stepping stone onto whiskey. They kind of like maybe get into it a bit when they start, and they're like, I'll go have other stuff, and they forget about it, right?
Agree. That's actually a really good point. I think lots of people will do that with Glenmoe, not give it a bit of respect once they're fully involved in their journey and getting bullied by the Ardbegs and Kilkerrans of the world.
I've been coming back to it a bit recently. Obviously, I've got this bottle. I've got a Cadenheads bottle. They put out a couple of 37-year-old, obviously, Highland whiskies last year.
Okay.
Pretty reasonable prices, especially given the big age statement on it.
For sure.
I think about 350 quid.
Fuck.
Obviously,
30 plus
not
year
cheap.
old whiskey.
37-year-old whiskey.
That's all right.
It's all right, yeah.
Fucking hell.
So a few years ago, they had their like private selection. That kind of series, I think, came to a natural end after about 8 or 9 releases. The last few years, they've been doing like 1 or 2 of these barrel selects per year, which is basically taking a more interesting or unusual kind of wood that you haven't seen with Glenmoe before, and then a finish.
Is it predominantly sherry? They did the Palo Cortado.
Palo Cortado's recently come out. This is Malaga.
Cool.
For people that don't know, Malaga is basically.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Please tell me.
It's basically sherry from outside the sherry triangle, in the same way that if you make a sparkling French wine not within Champagne, it's a whatever. Lambrusco or something that's fucking Italian.
It's another sort of fortified wine.
So it's very Malaga, I think, is pretty similar to Oloroso, but just from a different part of Spain.
It's bloody sweet. And I love it.
It's a party town sherry.
I love it.
Malaga.
Yeah.
Woo!
Of course. Tell me, is that single cask?
No.
What percentage is it?
It's a higher ABV though. This one is 47.3%.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was thinking 47.8.
And the other 2 aren't,
12
obviously,
range,
but this is natural colour, I'm hoping.
Do you know what?
I don't know if any Glenmorangie under the 18 mark are.
Right, okay.
And I don't even know if the 18
finishes. Fair enough.
This one is non-chill filtered, actually.
It would
So
be
it
nice
has a
if
bit
it was
of
natural colour, you would hope, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
Given they've said that it is non-chill filtered, which
You would
is
imagine
obviously
it's
also relatively unusual for Glenmoe, I would
yeah.
imagine it's not natural colour.
The reason being, with the whole look, again, everyone, it's consistency of product, right? Because it is one of these staples the world over. I don't want to say I understand or I agree with it, but it's like, all right, fine. I think that
with regards to what, sorry?
With regards to the colour.
With
regards to the unchill filtration is normally because it's going out to America. The Americans are sort of that's why the whole thing came into play anyway in the first place. Right?
Whiskey.
but yeah, I think with the barrel select and with this sort of more interesting, I agree. I think it should be natural colour. I think you would end up just getting quite different colour consistency between the batches, though. I think that's where they're unsure of it.
But it's a single small batch, and then they move on to something else. So what's the harm in it being natural colour?
It would vary every time anyway, wouldn't it?
But sorry, are they not repeating the different? Will they not have a Malaga batch 2 or whatever? I don't know.
Maybe they will, but then call it batch 2, right?
Right. Hey, look. I agree. It's all fucking insanity to me. But yeah, all right, fair enough.
Have you had a sup on that yet?
I have, man. I'm
Yeah.
liking this. Yeah. So and what I like about this actually is very different to the La Santa and the Quinta Ruben, right? And they are all in their own little realm. Yes, they're short finishes. They're not, really big, bolshy, complete, but they are different. They are different from one another. They're all clearly within the Glenmoe family, but I like the differentiation, and I love the fact that you can buy into these differential sort of things at a very accessible price point. I think that's so important, particularly as we say, because this is kind of, for a lot of people, one of the first stops along their whiskey journey. The ability to understand, to look into different cask types, to really get a flavor for that, not just this has been flashed for 6 months. Oh yeah, this doesn't taste any different to bourbon. Why is this? And then all of a sudden you think, oh, sherry is just the same as bourbon. No, it's not. That was a shit cask. They're using some cool casks here. I think there is a good differentiation. Price point, where are you at on this?
They're about £70, so
not cheap for a 12.
Not cheap for a 12,
especially at 47-48%.
Yeah, it's obviously not a single cask. It's a reasonable jump up over the others, like the La Santa, the Quinta Ruben, both available, I think, for about £50.
Yeah.
This is so Moorish for me.
Yummy,
I
isn't it?
really like it.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really like it. And I'm guessing it's an old label, so these are probably just on. You get them on an auction now if you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
How long ago did you purchase that? Sorry.
This one came out at some point during COVID, so probably 2020.
But they are still releasing the barrel selects.
Yeah.
They've got different barrel selects, as it says.
And have you had many different other barrel selects from them?
Oh, good question. I think I've had one other at bar, but I can't remember which one. I think there's now 3 or 4, and I would have to look them up.
Was the one that you had, the other one you had, as enjoyable as this was? Do you remember?
Yes.
Just putting you on the spot here, mate.
Yeah,
aren't I?
maybe.
It's 50 questions. Let's go.
Yes.
So the reason I asked is because I really, really like this, and I think for 70 quid, this is so Moorish, I'd drink it all night.
That's really
the bottle would go.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a great one that you could give to people that don't like whiskey or think they don't like whiskey, maybe, because of the sweetness. They have that idea in their head of whiskey being this harsh, can't drink that. But this
is where I'm at on it. I like it. It's Moorish. It's different. It's not worth £70.
No.
Again, you've got a similar thing with the X. I don't feel that the integration of the alcohol is good. I feel like it's not been left long enough in this Malaga. Yeah, I think that this needs to be matured another 2 years.
Really?
I think so. To be worth £70.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's already pretty pruny. I think after 2 years.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
That's interesting. See,
it would go too sweet for me. I think a couple more years.
Depending
how active the cask is, obviously.
There's something that I'm.
First of all, no idea how long the finish is.
If you compare it to the La Santa and are those two are 40%, are they?
I think they're 43.
43. Okay, so maybe it's the fact that they're watered down a little bit more. And this is again,
I think the ABV
normally the ABV is definitely higher. It's not the it's
if
not a
it
problem.
was, sorry.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is normally, first of all, I'll precursor it by saying normally, as you know, full well, gents, I would be against whiskies that are watered down to 40% as a standard. I actually think it works fine with Glenmorangie. Would it be nice to see it slightly, I don't think it would make a huge amount of difference. I think 10 works really, really nicely exactly where it is. With the X, for the reasons we've already discussed, fine. I don't feel that this is actually particularly well integrated from an alcohol point of view, which is why I'm saying extra maturation. However, it would be interesting, and what I'll do now, I'll water it down and play with it as we go on to the next one, is to see if watering it down further would actually solve that problem. Maybe the whiskey works much better at lower ABVs with these I don't know. But for me, if you compare this to the La Santa and the Port, the Quinta Ruben.
Yep.
And they're the same price point, aren't they?
They're cheaper.
They're cheaper. I haven't had
them,
them, so
this isn't worth £70. It's really nice. I agree with everything you said. I wouldn't buy it for £70.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert. But,
Yeah. To be honest, spoiler alert. I think I'm kind of with you, Jack. I think it was like £5 premium over the others because you get a little bit more ABV. Yeah, fine.
Yes, right. But the quality doesn't stand out as
But it's limited bottles, no? It's a batch.
Yeah, look, it's limited, but
yeah,
you know,
but it's
it's
limited
batch.
to like it was on sale for ages, like limited to like 12 billion bottles. Like,
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
You know, no one needs to rush out and be like, "Oh, I've got to get one of these. They're going to sell out."
Fair enough.
okay. I've added my water. I'm going to gently sap away on this and see if I can change my mind. See if I'll buy it by the end of the show. But moving on, we've got our final one, which is a cask sample. Now, we were discussing this earlier, and really interesting. The Cadenheads have labelled their Glenmorangie, maybe, wink, wink,
Wink, wink, nod,
definitely
nod.
was,
Yeah.
as a Highland.
Yeah.
So when Glenmorangie is sold to the open market, it is almost always sold as Westport. Now, Westport, for everyone who knows, is Glenmorangie, but for obvious reasons, they don't want to damage their brand. They don't want people like us bottling Glenmorangie and saying so. So basically the casks are Westport. Now, what we got here is a 2006 Hoggy. It's a cask that we used to own. It's actually a sample I didn't realize we had. We were kind of digging through the samples there the other day, and kind of part of the reason we wanted to do this Glenmorangie episode is because we found that there's probably enough for a small dram each. It was drawn as a 13-year-old hogshead. And the interesting thing from this one in comparison to the others that we've tried today, gents, is obviously this was a cask sample drawn at cask strength. So it's 56, 57%, I think, maybe even more. It's also exclusively matured in bourbon with no colorant, no anything, no nonsense. And so you really get a feel for kind of the whiskey untouched off the stills, landing in a bourbon hogshead and just being left to sit there for sort of 13 or so years, which obviously is in and around the realm of the bottles that we've already tried age-wise.
We obviously didn't bottle this. Did you sell it to a private client? Did you sell it to an indie?
Sold it to a trade client who I believe is going to be bottling it as an 18 or something year old, which actually will be next year.
Cool.
It was purchased through the last company I worked with at far too high a price, and we couldn't do anything with it. It's a really cool liquid. I really like it. And I think, again, it gives you a really different look at Glenmorangie. This bottle has been open for a long time, so I have no idea what this is tasting like. It may be a bit
I don't know
off.
if
It may
it's
have
meant to taste
oxidized.
like that. It's a bit funky, but it's complete. I feel it's completely different to what I've just had, personally.
That's interesting. I don't think it's completely different.
You don't? Yeah, no, that's fine.
I mean, maybe to the Malaga. But
maybe that's because I've just come from the sweetness. But
Yeah, no, it's just a bolshed up version, right?
Yeah.
It has oxidized a bit, though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bit funky.
but I mean, the ABV as well. It's 59.6.
Yeah.
It's 59. Okay,
It's
even
high.
higher than I thought.
It's
yeah.
high. It is high.
So 59.6, yeah. I mean, and that's interesting as well because we talk about, watering whiskies down. This is a 13-year-old cask. So they are watering their whiskies down circa 20%. Like 1/3 of the strength they are depleting in order to put a product out. So for people at home,
money.
Sorry, say that again?
Money.
Well, money, yes. Money. However, it works. Like, you know me, I am the worst for complaining and having a good bitch around people who, it's all for the money. Fuck them, it doesn't work at this strength. I think the 10 works.
Yep.
Could it be different?
think-
Yes. Could they do a higher strength?
I
Yeah.
would
Do they
phrase
need
it as
to? No.
they can get away with it.
I don't think they're just getting away with it, man. I think it's a really nice dram. I think it's nice. I think it's
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
it does everything it needs
It does
to.
work. But it's lucky that it works for them, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
I think actually Glenmorangie at cask strength is quite a beast. And the fact that this is held at 60% over 13 years as well, it's in a good condition.
Yeah.
It holds alcohol well. They've obviously got a good wood policy, as we've already discussed with, the fact that the quality of the finishes is really nice. The fact that it's holding the alcohol again. I'm really impressed by Glenmorangie as a whole, to be honest, when you compare this and their core range. I think it's awesome. All it leads me to think is there scope? We say this so many distilleries. Is there scope for you to be doing something more for me? What? Something that I want. I think that when it comes to distilleries, they're putting out 7 million litres. Like we've said, they are a great starting point. why are not more serious whiskey drinkers looping back around? Maybe it's because there's not enough of these barrel selects, not enough of these different things, not enough of something that's going to really intrigue somebody who's been around the block a few times.
I think they're missing a bit in the middle, right? They've got some, they put out the odd single cask, but they are super premium. Like the stuff that's available at the distillery and occasionally comes out, it's normally like 12, 15 more £100, right? The 25s kind of disappeared. The grand vintages, they're all like £400-500 or more, right? So you've got
at least, right?
Yeah,
fucking hell.
So you've got you've got these bottles here, the 12 and the 14 we talked about a little bit about, and then you kind of jump to the 18 and the Signet, and that's kind of it in terms of affordability for the vast majority of people. So I think it's, it would be cool if you could see like a 21 or something else that was like, not cheap, but affordable.
And do they release any cask strengths expressions?
There have been 2 limited edition cask strength versions. I think they were called Alta.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything on like a regular basis.
No batches or anything else. Yeah.
No. So, but it's been done.
The private cask releases, they were obviously big batches. I think they were cask strength, or at least they were higher strength. They were generally all in the 50s. So, I mean, again, even this one at 47.3 definitely is going to have had some water added to it.
What do we think, Stevie? What do you reckon of the Westport?
I really like it. It's quite
you
funky.
Still think it's different?
Yeah, completely. No, I don't. That's because I've come off. I don't drink any really Glenmorangie at all, so I'm not sort of versed in it very well. But I think you're right. I think it's 59%. It's so sort of dense and bolshy that. Well, that's what I like. But yeah, it is different to me. But I like it.
You're not unlocking the flavors in the same way.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Fair enough.
How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a bit of oxidization in there, but I think that, like I say, I think there is those kind of, those classic, lovely, gentle notes are there, but they're turned up. And I just feel like there's more depth. There's some nice oak spice in there. I feel like there's kind of, on the 10, there's like very soft hints of like something sweet, toffee-ish. In this, I get like rich toffee pennies that are like, it's something, there's gumption to it. There's a bit more backbone.
It's a little bit maltier, I think, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I know you talked a little bit about custard earlier, Stevie. For me, this is like someone's fucking like turbocharged a custard cream.
That's interesting. It's not that sweet for me on my palate.
I'm not getting the custard creams. I'm definitely getting the malt, but I'm getting more like barley malt.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it's kind of like that's probably just like me being lazy with my biscuit analogy, right? But you know what I mean, like
fair enough.
Like slightly biscuity, like custardiness.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And do either of you get any floral notes from it at all? Like
no,
on the back end there?
I'm not getting any florality.
Really, not really floral for me there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you know what though? Sorry, I was
comparing.
Well, I was going back to the Malaga that I was
dual wielding.
And
I know. I was mixing the
spilling.
two.
Yeah, no, I know. Spilling all over myself now. Don't look at me.
And do you see much Westport being bottled by indie bottlers?
You don't see any of it on the market, to be honest. And maybe that's interesting. How old was the Cadden Heads? You said it was old.
37.
So, you know what? There may have been a case of like going through, because Glenmorangie don't need to sell a huge amount of whiskey onto the market. They don't tend to. When they do, there could be, as with a lot of distilleries, a change in rules. So, for example, you talk about brands where would there ever have been a chance where you could have bought them? Highland Park used to be sold as Highland Park. That was it. And then for a long time, it was sold exclusively as Whitlaw. And now they're looking at actually changing it again, because Whitlaw you're able to label as distilled at Highland Park. But now they're looking to create a kind of a trade name spirit that you can't label as distilled at Highland Park. So Westport, you cannot label as distilled at Glenmorangie. Okay, it's not Glenmorangie, unless you know it's Glenmorangie. It's one of those.
Sure.
It's not teaspooned though, and so this is the next step when you look at, for example, William Grant's and
Burnside.
Thank you. Jesus, I was just about to say, oh, fuck, I've completely forgotten what it's called. But you do. You look at Glenfiddich Balvenie, and again, not only is it not labelled as Glenfiddich Balvenie whatever, but it's also teaspooned now. Whether this fucking happens or not, who's to say? Supposedly what happens is they get a teaspoon of Glenfiddich and they put it in the Balvenie, and then they sell it as Burnside, but it's a blended malt.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think anyone's walking around a fucking warehouse with a teaspoon going, right, 1 teaspoon for you and 1 for you, sir. I think it's a paperwork thing, funnily enough. But again, it all goes to, it's reason we're bringing this up. It's all about brand protection. Different brands have different rules, have different levels of protection. Interesting thing about Westport is it is still a single.
It's not teaspooned.
It's not teaspooned. It's still a single malt Highland Scotch whiskey.
That's cool.
And for everyone who knows, Westport is Glenmorangie, so it's same.
Awesome.
I think we're kind of coming to a nice end. Nice place to wrap up. What do you reckon, gents? Cool. All right. Well, let's run through. We started with the 10. Let's do our buys, don't buys. Glenmorangie 10. Ian, what do you reckon, sir?
Buy.
I reckon buy as well, right? At £30 especially.
£30, yep.
Yeah.
You're in?
It's kept the consistency. It's a good price.
Buy. It's a great place to start, guys. If you're not a whiskey drinker, buy a bottle. And I tell you what, if you are a whiskey drinker, revisit it, right?
Yeah.
I haven't drunk this for fucking a good minute. Certainly since the rebrand, but for a good minute. And I really enjoyed that, actually. So definitely. All buying on the Glenmorangie 10. We then went on to the X, which is obviously their slightly different, cocktail-y, whatever. What do we reckon, Ian?
Price point, sorry?
Let's say £25 to £30. You tell me where you'd buy, because I'm sure it's available in that price range.
Yeah, I just rather use the 10. I think the 10 is so much better. Like the 10 is a strong buy for me.
Right.
This is a kind of marginal don't buy, just on the basis that
just take a little step up, spend that little bit,
spend
£5 more, whatever it may be. Right.
Stick a Bemore 25 in your Coke. Take that step up.
Yes, do it.
Visit the distillery and just rob them of all of their finest vintages.
Roll the fucking
I don't think that's
cask
how it
out.
works, Stevie. All right, cool. So just narrowly missing out. It's a don't buy from you. Stevie?
It wasn't until you said the point, you just buy the 10 and make a cocktail with, which is a great point. I would probably buy into the marketing. I don't drink too many cocktails, but obviously the missus and friends, when they come round, because there's loads of whiskey, the cocktails and things getting made because I won't drink it straight. So I probably would buy if it was £25. Absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I would sip on it every now and then, as is. Because it's all right.
It's grand,
It's all right.
Again, I'd say
Nothing
similar
special.
to the 10. It's a bit of something you don't have to think about too much. I'm exactly where you are, Stevie. £25 and buying that all day long. I think, look, is it something I want to be drinking all day, every day? Or, something I'm really excited to talk to people about? No. But is it something cool that I think I can get non-whiskey drinkers to actually engage with me on? Yes, I think it looks cool. I think it stands out. I think it will work nicely in cocktails. My only thing with it is, could they have done it slightly higher? And should they potentially do it slightly higher? Yes, you should. Let's talk. But it's a buy from me and Stevie, at least. Moving on to then the Malaga. Thank you for bringing it, Ian. It's lovely to try some different barrel selects. Price point?
£75
£75 for the barrel selects. Okay, where are you at?
I think we kind of already covered it, right? It's a fairly narrow don't buy for me. I think, 5 or maybe even 10 quid supplement over the La Santa or the Quinta Ruben, it would be yes. I think £20 supplement, you're struggling. It's just, there are a lot of other good 12-year-olds out there. There are a lot of other good wood finishes out there. £75, you're starting to get into the realm of 15-year-olds or some kind of slightly younger single casks out there. I was
just about to say, there are some single casks definitely available at that £75 price point, right? So
it's just up against, it's just priced itself out of the kind of natural competition a little bit.
I agree with that. Right, okay. So just narrowly missing out. It's a don't buy from Ian. Stevie, you were saying you would definitely be buying that.
It's
you loved
really
it.
yummy. I really enjoyed it. It's really sweet. It's
so are you buying it?
£75.
£75.
I'd be mad, wouldn't I?
You told me
no,
but you enjoyed it.
If you
enjoyed it that much. You seem to enjoy it.
I've lost touch a little bit with when it comes to buying whiskey.
Don't give in to peer pressure.
Speak
your mind, my guy. Speak your mind.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I have lost touch a little bit when it comes to buying bottles and what I pay for things now. For £70, it was really yummy. If I would buy into the whole thing if I knew I couldn't get that again at auction. 60, 70 quid, I'd probably buy that. If I just to have it in the collection, to have it now, because I liked it.
But it's £75, sir.
I know.
I'm gonna push you.
I know, it's mad. You said 70, though.
No, he said 75.
Oh, was it 75 quid?
I didn't price it.
It's really tight. Not at 75.
Oh.
If it really came down to it in the basket, checking out, I'd question myself. At least I'd like
$69.99. Yeah.
Yes, I'm in. Sold.
Oh, very good.
Look,
I
it's
feel like
delicious.
I'm on Cash in the fucking Attic or something.
Bargain hunt.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? All right, so I think we're all on the same page here. It's kind of a narrowly missed. I agree. I think you said it perfectly, Ian. I think that it is pricing itself out of its natural competition. I think that's the best way to put it. Is it a really cool expression? Yes. Is it different from the core range La Santa Quinta Rubin? Yes. Is it worth trying? 100%. And I loved how excited you got over it.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really cool. It's just not £75 cool. So it's a don't buy from me. We're going to finish up on the Westport, which is kind of stupid because don't buy is kind of irrelevant. You can't unless you're somebody who's very wealthy and wants to buy a cask. In which case, good luck, because even finding a cask, you will struggle. I think, there's probably not point on doing a don't buy with that one, is there?
Nah.
Did we enjoy it?
Did you like it?
Yes.
How much would you pay for a bottle? Just let's do that instead, right? How much would you be paying for a bottle?
See, that's a super interesting question, because how much I would pay for a bottle versus how much I reckon that bottle would be,
right?
Is probably two different things.
Very different things, I would
So
imagine.
I reckon if someone was to say, here's a 13-year-old Glenmorangie
Single
cask strain.
It's going to probably be 140, 150 quid.
I was going to say 150 as a minimum, probably, but yeah, fair.
To me, compared to other stuff, like that's maybe 80, 90 quid, right?
Yeah.
And after tasting that, Ian, would you spend £150 on a bottle?
No.
Okay.
Because I know I can get other stuff that I would probably prefer more for my personal taste.
Definitely.
But there's people out there that obviously love the liquid enough that they would. Like that's.
But you go 90 quid. You go 90
Yeah.
quid. I think that's a good price point. I think that's a reasonable
You'd be getting
price
a bargain there, mate.
What do you reckon, Stevie?
150 quid? No, I don't think so. Look, it's nice. £90, yeah, of course, but it's not ever going to be that, is it?
No.
Look, it's really good liquid, and it's really interesting to see Glenmorangie at its kind of in its rawest form. Single cask strength. 150 quid though, not for me probably.
Yeah, I'd be spending 90, £100. I think we're all in the same place. Cool. All right. Well, listen, a great episode. I think one thing we'd love to do more is dive further into Glenmorangie. So again, anyone from LVMH, Bernie, we'd love to get you on. We'd love to come and visit. I'm really, really keen. It's one of the few distilleries, like I say, I haven't visited, but it is high on my list. I need to get up there and see it. So, yeah. Anyway, gents, always a pleasure. Never
Good
a
to see
chore.
you guys.
Thank you very much. See you next time, guys.
Cheers.
Pleasure.